Yeah, I had a math tube.
Ah, fun.
They were doing the VR math thing with
Oh.
like, they were doing vectors in like 3D space, so they give you a VR headset. It's really cool, yeah.
Cool.
Never heard someone be so into a math.
Yeah, I know. I am a bit sad like that.
Yeah, are you ready to start the interview?
Sure, let's do it.
Alrighty. So, hi Harrison.
Hi.
Thank you for taking the time to apply and become a part of VSA. My name is Vivian and I'm this year's Internal Vice President.
My name is Anthony and I'm the treasurer.
So we'll be your interviewers for today. During the interview, we'll be writing notes and checking the time. So if we aren't looking at you, don't worry, we're still paying attention.
Awesome.
We encourage you to take the time to think about your answers to each response. And please note that during the interview, we'll also be recording. So do you have any questions?
No.
Great.
All good.
So before we get started, we're going to ask some icebreaker questions to make you
Okay.
feel a bit more comfortable. Just explain your thought process to us and ask us any questions you might like.
Sure.
So you wake up in a zoo and find yourself in an animal enclosure. What do you do?
Animal enclosure. Well, firstly, you gotta scout your surroundings. You gotta be in a safe environment. Firstly, safety first. So if you do wake up in, say, an animal enclosure, you gotta make sure you're in a safe spot where you can't be in harm's way or other people's can't be in harm's way. If you wake obviously outside of the animal enclosure, then it's best to alert the staff when they get there, or just find the best way to get out and go on with the rest of your day.
Great.
Yep, so we're going to ask you questions on your background and motivations in joining our 2020 VSA team.
Yep.
So can you just tell me a bit about yourself?
So my name's Harrison Ewan, first year. I do computer science and commerce. Obviously from my second name, you can tell I'm Viet. So obviously joining VSA is more of connecting to the community and the culture. Growing up, I grew outside of like the Cabramatta Bankstown area. So I was more, you could say, like whitewashed. So joining VSA is more like a way to connect back into like that Vietnamese community and like society. And what I really regret missing out on is the sense of like community and like the closeness that Vietnamese people share. Like you go to Cabramatta, you know everyone's your parents will go to say hi to like 50 different people. And like I missed out on all that, and I really wanted to join VSA to like be part of that community like feeling. So yeah.
Yep. So again, why do you want to be a part of VSA? And
So-
what do you associate with the society?
So I want to be part of VSA to connect back to my culture and that sense of community that Vietnamese people are famous for, I guess. And I associate VSA with, like I said, an inclusive environment where everyone can learn about Vietnamese culture, the language, the food, and yeah, just have a growing understanding of the values that Vietnamese people share.
Oh, sorry. So just a follow-up question. What can you gain from VSA and what can you give back to VSA?
Well, I definitely with the gain, like I said, I was whitewashed growing up, so I definitely want to have an understanding of a greater understanding of Vietnamese culture, maybe like of food, of just even the language maybe. And I want to connect with other Vietnamese people and see their perspectives on different things. And what I can give to VSA is maybe, since I'm so whitewashed, maybe like an outside view of the Vietnamese community and the things that I see given my upbringing outside of the Cabramatta Bankstown area. So yeah, I want to offer a unique perspective, but also want to gain a perspective and see both sides of Vietnamese culture.
Yep. So what motivates you to learn about your culture? And what do you suggest are the best ways people can learn and connect more about culture?
Okay, so sorry, can you repeat the first part of the question again?
So the first part is what motivates you to learn about your culture?
Okay, so I was motivated to learn about my culture because of, like I said, the sense of community and the closeness that everyone shares. And I think that's really not unique, but a lot stronger in Vietnamese culture compared to like other foreign cultures. And I would say the best way to immerse yourself in Vietnamese culture is it's actually through food. I'm a big foodie, and I think food is a great way where people can connect. You know, you sit down on the table, you share a meal, you talk about your life, you talk about anything. And I think Vietnamese food gives an insight into our background and also can open a communication between different people.
Yep. You should be aware that VSA is not exclusively for Vietnamese people.
Yes.
As a society, we aim to celebrate Vietnamese culture in the university community.
Mm.
However, we also embrace, celebrate, and learn about all cultural backgrounds. In consideration of this, why do you think diversity is important to VSA and to yourself?
Well, diversity is important because having a narrow view or one single perspective can be dangerous. And I think understanding or discovering or exploring different cultures, different perspectives is really important in understanding just life in general and seeing how people think, what motivates them, and just stuff like that that can really help VSA or people in general just to live a better life.
Yep. And I guess why would it be important to yourself as well?
What is myself? Well, like I said, everyone should benefit from looking at different perspectives, and it's the same as myself included. I don't think you would have as good of a connection to someone if you don't really understand what motivates them and their background. So understanding different cultures and having a diversity in your understanding is really important.
So VSA is continually looking for a diverse team to bring bright, creative, and innovative ideas to improve our events.
Yeah.
Next, we'll ask you to pitch an idea. You'll be given 2 minutes to think about it and 1 minute to pitch.
Okay.
So the scenario is, VSA typically runs similar food events, social, sport, and charity events every year. Pitch a new event idea to us and explain why this would be important to you. In your response, please discuss why it would be successful and what potential issues you might face.
Whenever I'm ready.
Yeah, whenever you're
Yeah.
ready.
Okay. So charity is a really big thing for me. Like growing up, I was raised in a wealthier family, but my parents were immigrants, so I really appreciated and like was infinitely grateful for what they gave me, and so I feel like it's a responsibility or duty to give back, and so setting up a charity event would probably be my option. For the charity event, I think setting it up in an external location would provide a better environment as people can, you know, like they're outside uni, they can have more fun, they can socialize better, and obviously there's probably better food options. The way I would raise money for that charity, I mean, there's multiple ways. So through the tickets itself, I would add just a little bit of money just to raise money for the charity. Probably have a raffle, which would incentivize people to donate while having this sense of like giving back to them, which is a great way. And yeah, the issues we would face, obviously raising awareness about the charity is an important part of it, because people, when they think of an event, they just want to go, they want to have fun. But I think it's an important thing to actually make them aware and care about charity. And so that is an issue that might be hard to overcome. Obviously there's like the organizational and logistic challenges, but yeah, I think involving them in a meaningful way is probably the hardest thing to overcome.
And so what's the nature of this charity event? So what would happen at the event?
So at this event, you know, it would just be, there would be, let's say it's a nighttime event, okay? So let's say obviously you get fed dinner, but there will also be like live performances, but I want them to be from volunteers, because I want people to like to actually care about the charity and dedicate their own time. I think that's a great way to show support as well. and like I said, a raffle would happen, and probably no one at uni is probably well enough for this, but like auctions, I have seen it done in the past, but it can be like for different like cheaper objects that might be appealing to uni students. But yeah, so raffle, auction, live entertainment, that would be through volunteers, and just yeah.
Cool.
So the next set of questions will be personal insights. These questions will require self-reflection and allow you to think deeply about your current skills. Please be as honest as you can, since there are no right or wrong answers. So firstly, what personal qualities are you most proud of, and what qualities do you aspire to develop?
So I think I'm most proud of my hard work. I mean, getting into this uni, it's obviously a pretty prestigious uni. I was never like really that like use like the term naturally smart. So I really just grinded and worked hard to get here and in other things, in other places. And one of my weaknesses has always been that when I struggle, I always tend to like close people off. And I think a aspect of me that I want to change is I want to open up more to help when I'm in times of need, because it is burdening people I care about when they see me burdened. And I thought that by just doing everything myself, I would shield them for that, but I think that's the wrong way of thinking as I've grown up. So yeah, that's what I want to change.
So what do you anticipate will be the greatest challenge of joining the team, and how do you plan to handle this?
The greatest challenge, I think, would be developing meaningful connections with everyone in the team. So, you know, like everyone obviously in a team wants to be there, wants to do good for everyone, but actually cohesively working together as a team can be an issue, I think, at sometimes. Being in many different situations, I feel like having that deep connection to other people and working together in an effective way can be harder than what most people think. So overcoming that, I think actually meeting the team outside of a working environment, so just having like fun social events or just going out, I think that will really like lower the barriers that everyone put up originally, because everyone's going to be like new to each other. So I think that's a great way of making actual meaningful connections to different people.
We understand that university life is demanding and students are balancing between many things like work and family and self-care. Joining VSA adds another layer of responsibilities to manage. So oftentimes you have to manage multiple conflicting tasks. So giving an example, how do you prioritize and manage conflicting tasks?
Yeah, so in school I was involved in many different aspects of school life. So I was worked in the cadet corps. That's like a army unit. I did 2 sports. I was in the future project program, which is like a extracurricular science program. I was a house monitor. So I was many different things. And what I found is that not being overcommitted is really important, and just being in the mode of each task and not thinking about other tasks that you have on hand is really helpful for focusing on that time and that commitment. Otherwise, planning ahead is also a great way to manage your time. So like in school, I had like a full calendar that I would have set hours and set times, and being really disciplined to follow that strictly, and that was a great way of managing my time as well. So I feel like those aspects are really helpful.
So just as a follow-up question, what other university commitments do you have or might you have, and how will you uphold the responsibility of your role in VSA alongside?
Currently, besides just normal uni work, I haven't got any other commitments. I did apply for Food Lovers that I did an interview for, but I have not yet confirmed my spot there.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the second part of the question?
So how will you uphold the responsibility of your role in VSA?
Yeah. Well, obviously, like I said, when I go to an event or have a commitment, I will just not focus on anything else but that one task. So being in the moment and being really focused on the task at hand for VSA would show that my commitment and my effort towards the society is present.
Yep. So teamwork is one of the core skills required when working in a group, and strong teamwork is an integral part of VSA.
Yep, definitely.
The following questions will aim to discover your role and view on team cooperation. So in your experience, what are 3 characteristics and actions that you believe make up a strong and successful team?
The first one is definitely the connection that people share within the team, because I don't believe that the outcome or the result that the team produces is always the best measure of teamwork. So having a strong connection shows that people are happy to work together and effective in working together. That would be one. The second one would be similar, following on from that, but their impact on each other. So how good one team member makes another team member, and how much they support each other's ability to become better. I think that's really important, because to me, teamwork is all about just making the people around you better. That's what I believe teamwork is. And a third aspect would be probably communication, and how well they communicate, not just within the team, but also to people outside of the team. So if you would sought help from other people, the way in which you communicate and the means of communication is really important measure of how well that team is going, I think.
Yep. So in a team, would you describe yourself as a leader or follower? Give an example of when you fulfilled this role in a team situation.
Okay, so in regards to that question, I definitely believe it's situational. So depending on the task, I think being a leader or a follower can change with, like, personally. So one example that I was a follower was during that it's called senior intern of a future project. So I was tasked in a small team of 3 plus a PhD student who was leading. So obviously in that situation, the 3 of us were students. We didn't really know much about the science that was going on, and it's difficult to lead when you don't have the knowledge about the task at hand. So I feel like in that situation, you have to be a follower if you don't have the required information. But I was a leader in my cadet corps because I was a warrant officer in my platoon. So in that situation, I had great knowledge and skill in leading that signals platoon, because I've done it for several years. So I feel like I'll be most effective as a leader. Generally speaking though, I would prefer to be a leader, because I think that I have great managerial skills, organizational skills, and just teamwork skills that can be used across the board in most situations. But of course, there are some situations where I don't have the knowledge or the skill to lead. So in those cases, I would be the follower.
So oftentimes when working in a team, different people contribute different levels of work and effort to a project. How do you approach someone who contributes less or not at all?
Contributing to the outcome shouldn't be the measure, rather it should be how much they try to contribute. So effort, I think, is actually a better measure than actually the physical contribution. So like I was saying, with that, in a case where there's different levels of skill, someone who has more knowledge about that field is likely to contribute more. But if everyone is putting their best effort in, I still think that the team is still effective in the way that they are working, because we shouldn't expect everyone to be equal, and obviously everyone has their own issues, they have their own skills, and so the level of effort at which they contribute should be more important than how much they do contribute. If they weren't putting that effort in though, I think that's a problem. And in that case, the leader or someone who has like more authority should be giving them the hard talk. It really should. If they care about the team, they should respond to that. And it's important that they understand that by not putting their effort in, they're affecting the team, and they should care about the team as a collective more than they should care about themselves, I feel. And that's the way I think you should approach someone who doesn't put the effort in to contribute.
Yeah, so moving on to the next question. The next question will be a problem-solving question. So take your time to plan out your answer and explain your thought process. If you'd like us to repeat the question, please ask.
Yep, awesome.
So you are at a barbecue food event and responsible for grilling the meat. As our food is delicious, the event is really busy and there is soon a large queue of members waiting for food. As you are cooking, you see one general member is complaining to a fellow PR about the long queue and the PR is getting visibly upset. So how would you approach the situation?
Well, firstly, I would try to make them understand that everyone is in the same spot. Everyone has to line up, everyone's gonna have to wait for your food. And having them understand that they're not better than everyone else in that line, I feel like is really important, because they shouldn't feel entitled or privileged to have that food before anyone else. And if they don't want the food, then just leave. And the second part of the question was asking about the PR.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that
So the member is complaining to one of your PRs,
yes.
and whatever they're saying to them is making them feel uncomfortable or upset.
Yep. So definitely, I would show support to that PR, and I would try to step in to mediate that kind of situation where both parties are probably getting heated up and angry. Best case scenario is that guy just gets back in the line or leaves. Worst case scenario, if things start to escalate, you definitely have to bring more PRs in who can separate them and try to calm them down, because obviously if the communication between the two of them is breaking down, then it's not effective in solving the problem by having them keep arguing. So definitely separating them should be the last resort.
Great, thanks.
So final icebreaker question. You have to wear a shirt with one word on it for 1 year. What word would you choose and why?
One word. I get to wash this shirt, right? I would go with thoughtful. So I like to think through everything before I do it, and having a clear idea or clear direction of what you want to do, I think is really important in life. And so being thoughtful about every decision you make and reaction you take is, I think, important to me. So thoughtful would be my word.
Sounds good. So we've reached the conclusion of the interview, and I'll just now ask a few questions about your availability and commitments. This section is completely unmarked. So what days do you come to uni?
So I come to uni Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and most Thursdays.
Okay.
But I live in the city, so I can
Right.
come really any day.
Must be nice.
But the light rail is a tragedy, my goodness.
So do you have any other work or society commitments? If so, how many days or hours do they take up per week?
So I don't work, but as I've said, I've applied for Food Lovers, but I have not yet received any offer from them. So.
So just to confirm, are you able to attend the following compulsory dates? So our inaugural meeting on the 10th of March and our retreat from the 19th to 22nd of May.
Yes, I should.
Awesome. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to apply and attend the interview today. We've had an extraordinary amount of applications, so congratulations on getting this far. You'll hear from us by the end of the week on Sunday the 8th of March. Just note that due to our high number of applicants, it'd be best not to share the questions you've been asked today in the interview, as it will only disadvantage yourself. Do you have any questions for us?
No.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Alright, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You too.